been following you for probably a couple of years.
Okay.
And the reason I've been following you is because I work for IFIS, which is basically we're a not-for-profit charity, started in 1969,
Yeah.
indexing the world's science. Okay, so we've got a couple of databases. I think you had NutriHealth, one of them for a little while.
Okay.
So we index all the world's research. We've got this massive thesaurus, it's like 17,000 words. So if you want some stuff that's from 1969 right up to this week, whether it's coming from a journal, a patent, a thesis, a conference proceeding. If it's food science related, we've probably got it in our database. But
Okay.
because we've got 89 languages and 89 countries, 41 languages, we've got unique stuff which a lot of other databases don't have, and you can find it. So I've worked for this company for a couple of years. I started joining you, sort of building my network of okay, who are the movers and shakers in this world? You came out, and I instantly saw there were about in those days, a couple of years ago, there were about I would say six or seven good communicators. Now there's maybe 15 or 20 in food science nutrition.
Okay. So when you say good communicators, what sort of platform are you talking
I'm on
across
LinkedIn. I'm
just
going on
LinkedIn?
LinkedIn.
Right.
Yeah.
Fine.
So I spotted you on LinkedIn. It's sort of my go-to social media of choice, only because a lot of the other ones aren't sensible and you get a lot of rubbish. But I really liked what you said. And so I thought, I've been following you. I've commented every now and again. I saw your book and I thought, okay, if I'm going to grab hold of this guy, I might do around the book launch because I might get 5 or 10 minutes with him.
Yeah.
And that was the context of it, James. Basically that.
Okay. Okay. That's really cool. Well, thank you for paying attention. I've
It's all
ramped
right.
up my LinkedIn since where are we? Since the middle of October, I think it was.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right. Yeah. And I've got someone who's running that for me.
I can
So
see. Yeah, yeah.
he's drafting the post, but I'm approving them and
Yeah, yeah.
a bit more out of my comfort zone. It's a bit like, oh, look at me, everybody, aren't I great? Which isn't really my comfort.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. But
I
it's
do.
nice. It's a nice tone. It's a nice tone, James. It's a nice tone.
I hope so. There's been some
Yeah.
criticism, but that's fine. We course correct. I also the other one I focus. Well, the two others I focus on are Instagram and Substack, but Substack's more long form and my
Yeah, I've read them. They're good.
yeah, yeah. It's how I form my ideas, and if I do another book, if HarperCollins will bless me because they're brilliant. I can't fault them. They're brilliant.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
they yeah. If you see the next articles that will go up, will most of them will be the template of something that will morph into parts of the book
Nice.
because you can spend 4 years writing a book and for a win, or you can get a win every 3 or 4 weeks when you put an article out, a mini win.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So book launch has just happened. It's just a week ago. It's quite an interesting space. It's been
You've been
positive.
enjoying it? You've been enjoying it?
Yeah. No, no, I have. Yeah. It's full on. I have no PA. I have two jobs. I have my job at Huel and this thing that I call being a nutrition communicator, because I can't
Mm,
think of a better term,
mm.
which covers everything. Um, the podcasts I'm doing quite a range from high level ones to right through small ones, and I'm not saying yes to any more small ones again.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
been stressing
Yeah.
myself, trying to be nice. Um, and there's some really good parts to it. I get the chance to I get people like yourself reaching out to me wanting to have a conversation, and
Yeah.
some of them are really interesting people.
Yeah.
Um, so
You,
that's
you,
really
you're
cool.
putting the pressure on me now, James. Thanks.
Yeah. Well, I've started saying no to a lot of people as well because I get people, the business leaders, just want to pick my brain. I had someone advised me a few years ago. You'll get people tugging at the sleeve and touching the cloak, and these
Yeah.
are all touch the cloakers, right? They
Yeah, yeah.
just want to, I don't know, which is interesting, right? Because people see me as someone successful because of Huel,
Yeah.
um, but and that's kind of what it is, whether what their
Yeah,
definition
yeah.
of success. But anyway, so are there anything in particular you wanted to sort of
Oh, I just
talk?
wanted to say, I mean, I love your book. Okay, great. And I really
I'm
like the
impressed by you. I think you, other than one of my close mates, you're the furthest on from anyone.
I
Yeah,
finished it. I finished
I
it.
agree with
Yeah, yeah. It's great.
Oh,
It's a good easy read, I would say. I mean, okay, I know lots about this subject, right? I know a lot about it. So for me, it's slightly different
yeah,
because I'm thinking, okay, what are the stuff, what's the take on it? So I know about your background. I know about, you're inspired by your mum. I don't need to talk about that because your background is out there. Nutritionist, NHS, Huel with Julia in 2014. You're probably the number one complete food, 400 million turnover, probably a little bit more by now. Those figures have come out.
It's got three. It's 300 million run rate.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you've done something really quite cool. But one question I want to ask you is, and and I've noticed this in your videos. What is the letters behind you, CHNO, on your
That
wall?
that is the chemical symbol for serotonin, the chemical
Okay.
symbol for happiness.
Yeah,
It's a
which is
talking
the
point.
gut, which basically
Yeah, the gut,
creates
gut more, yeah.
90% of it.
So it's the neurotransmitter, stroke hormone, depending how it's defined. And
Yeah.
yeah, so it's just an interesting one. But I've got a new one that's going to go up that I haven't put up yet.
Cool.
Because they kindly sent me
Oh,
that.
nice.
That's
HarperCollins.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you
So that's I'm gonna have to shove them all along a bit, all three of them.
So
Yeah.
are you when you wrote this book, you've communicated it in a really I tell you what the biggest thing that comes out from me, apart from all the really interesting stuff like the BMI was invented in 1880, body mass index, and there's been quite a lot in the Lancet this week saying actually BMI is not worth the paper it's written on because some people can be obese healthy, and some people can be skinny fat and unhealthy. So we need to look at that. And then this has taken what 140 years now to sort of suddenly go, actually, BMI is not what it's all about.
Mm.
You made a great point in the book about that. So, and that story, and the other one about George Phillips and his kefir. Where did you discover that story?
Which do you know what? Some of that was written ages ago, and I
It's
can't.
amazing.
Where did I?
It's
Where?
it's it's the it's the Bethlehem Hospital.
Oh, that one. Oh, they're talking about the microbiome and that.
Yeah,
Is that in the mental health chapter?
yeah,
Yeah. Where did I find that out from? Do you know? I read so many books and articles. This is
yeah,
how
yeah,
it worked for me. I have my concept. I have my
yeah,
skeleton, right, and then I don't. So let me. I think I will. I know where you're going, but let me just sort of explain how I write. Let's say I write an article. Let's say I have
yeah,
some thoughts. Look, I'm writing one at the moment. It's going to take me a few weeks because I'm busy, but it's going to be called nutrition populism. Right? Why I think the populism mindset, as in the political mindset,
yeah,
manifest nutrition. I haven't come up with the term. Someone else has come up with it. But then I read a load of other stuff, and I've got loads of stuff to link to. I've got stuff from law. So I'll write these. I'll write a skeleton of what I think I want to cover, and
yeah,
then that will it's not then that will ask me more questions, and if I get more questions now, sometimes then I'll also read things maybe in a book, and I read a lot of books, and not probably every fourth book is a nutrition book,
yeah, yeah,
um, or I read an article. I love Substack. I subscribe to a few others. I mean, where
yeah,
was it before 2 years ago?
yeah.
Or I just and I might think, oh, that's a cool fact, and I'll just send myself a WhatsApp voice note, pay so and so, and then once every couple of weeks, I'll dump all these on a sheet, or if I know where they're going in a book, and I'll just make for. So I don't know where I got it from. I mean, being the references, but I don't. That doesn't ask where I heard it
Yeah,
from.
yeah, no, it's a great story.
Yeah,
But that's what it was saying. What is great about your book, right? Is and it seems like how you are as a person. The book is so positive.
you see, when I was interviewed for the Guardian, the lady, she said it's quite gloomy at points, but at the end she said you're very optimistic. And okay, I mean that's interesting, and that's because I try and be honest, and honest must be you can't be just like, oh, everything's good in the world and try and tell people why it's good just for the sake of trying to keep
Mm,
people spirits up. You have to give a reason why,
yeah,
and there's a lot wrong with the world at the moment, but
yeah, yeah.
it's that's interesting. Because
Well,
it's the first feedback I've had. The first person
yeah,
since publication I've spoke to that's finished the book. One
yeah,
of them, I'm gonna call my mate in a minute and tell him someone's beat.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
what I mean by positive is because you've sort of gone from this individual Huel 40, 30, 30, right?
mhm,
With the right ingredients, because you're a trained nutritionist with all the experience, you've gone from that to sort of population level. I think, you've got the contemplative nutrition where people have to think about what they're eating. You're very careful about saying obesity is not just a single, facet
mm,
problem. And so you've gone from this journey of starting Huel, so even bodybuilding, helping individual athletes, Huel helping more and more people. And I'll tell you a story about this in a second. I remember someone who uses Huel for a particular reason.
Mm.
And you've gone to this sort of population global level. That's a really positive journey, I think. That's what makes me think you're positive.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have to respond really. I I didn't set out to be positive. I just find what I find, and what comes out on paper comes out on paper. I
Yeah,
love writing as a process and try to do the storytelling thing. I don't know whether I've achieved that, but you've got to you've got to weave things together. It's yeah, I've come from a human nutrition background, and it's the weaving in the sustainability and ethics side is
you're big on that. You're very big on it.
yeah, but you can't view you know you know this is polarization, right? This is black and white thinking, and
Yeah,
this is what's causing a lot of problems in the world. And more, yeah, if I could, boy, if I could write on other subjects, I would, like
yeah,
more like critical thinking and because, but I don't have the skill. I don't have the not that I don't have the skills. I don't have the acceptability. I'm not. You
yeah.
know, I'm not. I don't
Well,
even want to use the word
perhaps that's
expert.
to come.
Yeah, yeah, but I'm not even. I don't even consider. Like I've said in other stuff, there's no such thing as an expert in nutrition.
Yeah.
There's an expert in a narrow field of nutrition, yeah, and I'm lucky enough I get to speak to these genuine experts. And
Mm,
when some people, you know, there's the death of expertise at the moment. No one's an expert, and people, some of my friends think I'm an expert, and I'm genuinely not. And they think I'm just being coy when I'm not. I'm not,
yeah,
because I know what an expert is. But what
yeah.
my skill is, I have a. I'm not doubting I have skills, but my skill is being able to weave experts together, weave their
Yeah,
opinions.
synthesizing the information in
Yeah,
a really nice way.
yeah, that's what I try and do. And I also know people quite. I know quite a lot of people, which is well, you know, why I'm happy to talk to someone like you, because
Yeah,
we'll be a connection now, and I'll know. And I could be talking to someone else and think, oh, that's something he could help
yeah,
with. He could, and I can link the two people up, and they can go and do their thing.
yeah.
And
Well,
you
it's good because you're really clear on food. One food is not medicine. You know,
yeah,
you're really clear on it's a whole uh, system, body stuff as well, which I find very interesting that you do. So one of the things that we've got is a database called NutriHealth. We're putting it into hospitals like NHS and stuff because obviously food and what you eat. So I two things. One person I know is allergic to lots of things. I personally, I don't know why that is, but she uses Huel as a
okay.
food because it stops her being allergic to many of the food stuff. So it's a great meal for her. She happens to be a teacher and she uses Huel for that. But I'll give you an example of a post I did recently, which was one of my most successful posts. And I don't really post about myself that much. I had an infection. I went fishing, a cut on my finger. We know what's happening to rivers. I was in hospital on Christmas Day with an infection,
Oh,
intravenous antibiotics. Best day to go. No one was there.
oh my
Intra
God.
Intravenous antibiotics. And I know what antibiotics do to gut microbiome because I'm in this business of food
Yeah,
science. But I didn't get a leaflet about this is what you should eat, some kefir, maybe some fermented foods. This is how you can re-establish yourself. And so we've got this great database called Ovid NutriHealth, and we're putting it into the NHS. It's so inexpensive, it's ridiculous. But what do you think about the whole sort of lack of nutrition? So we've got the apple that used to have X number of vitamins in it, but doesn't now. Do you think this is one of the biggest problems, the lack of nutrition in the things we actually eat?
there's less nutrition, but I don't
Mm.
see that's the goal. And I hope that the declining nutrition section in chapter one,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
were talking about that. And
yeah,
I hope I wasn't too doom and gloom there, because the last thing I want people to do is not to bother to eat their fruit and veg.
yeah,
So
yeah. No, you weren't.
while it's diminished, it's still that you people still the main problem is it's not a fruit and veg, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, and I'm a big fan of fiber, as you'll know from many of my posts and the
yeah, yeah.
book. Um,
Drink water, drink water. You keep,
yeah,
which is
yeah,
great. Yeah,
and you know, you need plenty of fiber, and fiber's just not cool, right? It's like I come from the gym scene, and you go down there and you get, but hey man, you had your protein, have you had your fiber? It's just not so. It's just
yeah,
something no one ever says,
yeah.
right? So it, yeah, but no, I don't see that as a mate. Answer your question properly.
Hmm.
No, I don't. But things are different, and the food system needs to change because of that.
Yeah,
And this is the problem I have with these. People go back to natural foods,
yeah,
so
yeah.
whatever that means. And
Hmm.
people have a different interpretation of that. right?
Yeah.
So, and the mindset of, and the ancestral eating, or whatever that means.
Yeah.
I have a real take issue with it, because one, it's very privileged mindset. Secondly,
Mm.
it's very black and white thinking. But the food
Yeah.
system is gone, right?
Mm.
Yes, in one respect, and I do mean in one respect, it would be lovely to go back. But I like, and I quoted in the book Mark Linus, the environmentalist, if we were to go
Yeah.
back to farming systems circa 1960, we would need a plot the size of two South Americas to feed the planet. Now, there is
Mm.
probably some exaggeration in that, but
Mm.
as a metaphor, I think it's brilliant,
Mm.
and it makes sense. Now, um, so I think people, this needs to, the food system needs to change,
Yeah.
and the problem we have is ready to change. There's technologies there. Some, of course, I'm going to talk about complete foods, because that's my
Yeah.
wheelhouse.
Yeah.
But I see it was a tiny cog in the system of Huel,
Mm.
has got Huel on it, right? There are other things. I'm a support mostly of GMOs, but
Yeah.
not without caveats,
Yeah.
right? The regulations and people more
Mm.
knowledgeable than me. There should just definitely no free for all on those. Definitely
Yeah.
not. But and ultra processing. We need ultra processing,
Mm-hmm.
and also things. Intensive farming should stay, but it should be. But we need to bring new forms of regenerative farming back in. That will give them more nutrient rich.
Yeah,
Products.
Like the Shosley
Yeah,
farm
the
thing you
totally
were
fine.
talking
Yeah, the
about.
totally fine. We
Yeah.
have the fortune to
Yeah.
visit. But and you can use new technologies. I mean, I'm not. This is not my area. And have you read English Pastoral by James Rebanks? It's a memoir.
No, I
It's
haven't.
great.
Oh,
It's
okay.
it's from the north of England. He's third generation, and he's now my sort of age. And
Yeah.
it's just a brilliant bit of writing, because it's a
Mm.
memoir. He talks about his granddad and then
Mm.
his dad, and what his vision of the future is. And he doesn't really. He kind of talks about regenerative farming without talking about regenerative farming. And it's yeah. So his sort of way of thinking is we need a blend of intensive crop farming and
Mm.
regenerative farming.
Yeah.
And there's some other cool. There's all these novel ingredients that are coming out. I think the algae area is really interesting, both in the sea and via
And
algae.
muscles is. I'm not just talking physical muscles, James, with you,
I know,
but we're
yeah,
talking the food stuff.
yeah, but then there's ethical questions there, and I don't want to provide the answers.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know I give 20 watch out. What I want to do is I just want people to stop and think just a little
Yeah.
little
The
bit.
contemplative
The
nutrition.
contemplative, yeah, the
Yeah.
contemplative, yeah, yeah. That's what I want people to do. And unfortunately, people want black and white answers. But question, Boyd, for you,
Yeah.
you reached out to me before you read the book.
Yeah.
So what was it? Just you just wanted to have a conversation, just to pick my brains in general, or did you
I find
know?
you. I just think what you're doing is very interesting. We work with some food companies like the big, some really big ones, you
Yeah.
know, of this world. And of course, you've got all these ultra processed foods. I actually call them ultra formulated as opposed to anything else, because ultra formulated actually seems more logical. The Nova system doesn't work. We know that. So again, I'm like you. You can't be prescriptive to people, but we work with a lot of companies. We work with a lot of universities.
Mhm.
So because we've got all this research, I find it very interesting to talk to people in the business, because we don't
Okay.
get close enough to people in the business. That's the reality of it. So if we're talking to a manufacturer, for example, Aldi, just take Aldi, they get loads and loads of foods all manufactured for them, right? They're not making it. They're just putting a brand on it. They say to a manufacturer somewhere, make me that drink.
Mhm.
And the manufacturer goes, okay. And they cut away. And within 6 weeks, they've got a formula of that drink. And they come back and they say, okay, yes or no. So we're learning as a charity, because we're a bit twee as a charity. Do you know what I mean? I'm a commercial guy. I've been in professional sport and business, and I've come in and I've gone, we need to actually tell our story a lot better, speak to people, like yourself, like James, and find out really how this works. And
Mhm.
so we're talking to some food manufacturers, and we're saying we've got all the patents that are being done in food as they're registered, but we've indexed them in a food term. So when you can't find a patent in the world, because it's not in, because patents are written in obscure language. That's how you get a
Yeah.
patent. Because so we've indexed them in food terms. So what that means now, we can say to a manufacturer, hey, you're working with Aldi or another supermarket. You can do horizon scanning with the patents now. You can say this company's just put a patent into place, and they're going to take 2 years. A big company's going to take 2 years to put it into business. If you're a small or a lean company, you can take that and go, I know what they're doing. We can take that in 6 weeks and we can get in there. So it's about intelligence. But on the altruistic side, my belief is this: we have enough data in the world's science because we keyword it by humans, not AI. So we've got a big team of people that look at the articles and they put keywords in.
Okay.
Costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
My belief is this, and this is why I work for IFAS. And everyone has to have a dream, because if you don't have a dream, you don't wake up in the morning and go to work. And the dream is that the amount of information and data that we have, which is being added to by 50,000 scientists every single year, we produce another 300,000 or 400,000 articles or indexed. There is now an AI tool which is going to be coming into this research, which will basically mean that you're not large language modeling the internet and finding some rubbish or hallucinations. And sometimes hallucinations can work. A guy just won a Nobel Prize based on hallucinations, by the way, for alternative proteins. Um,
Right.
I believe that we will be able to say Parkinson's, you know, per example, maybe an inflammatory disease, and you may be able to reduce inflammation in the body when you do this, and you have a gut microbiome test which is personalized with the 26 trillion or million bacteria viruses, because we just basically host for viruses and bacteria. We know that they keep us alive. Without them, we're dead. Without, that's how it works. So the ultimate dream for us, I think, is that not only can we do the stuff like give consumers. So someone's launched something in Sainsbury's. My view is you have the barcode, the QR code on it. You have the podcast of curcumin or turmeric. As you walk around Sainsbury's, you're listening to what this product really has from a scientific background. That's a lovely consumer thing to do. But on the medical front, we know that doctors can help people faster if they eat the right food. We know that we don't necessarily need to have a Wegovy or a semaglutide jab to reduce weight. So the answer is that the information is there. But what we need to do is we need to, as you say, synthesize it. And it's only sort of interdisciplinary stuff that allows that synthesis to go on. And so that's our forte. We take the world's information, we bring it together, we index it, we make it available. And just to let you know, because we're a charity, we make it available to hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people free of charge, like, in various different countries around the world. So that's why I'm interested in what you
Okay.
do.
Yeah, that's interesting. I like the way that I don't think it's fully landed in how your business works or with me. You're a
We
non-profit. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we license all the data from all the
so
publishers and other people. We license it all. We index it. We got it on 3
is the
search
index
platform. Sorry,
manual by the team? That everyone
manual. Yeah, no, we have
you
a
hear
lot
about?
of
Is it all just life sciences? Is it just nutrition and food
only
science?
food and nutrition.
So just the food science and nutrition. Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
And you put it all into this database,
Yeah.
and then companies might use that.
Yeah, they use it to do it. Like, for example, if I've got a colloid problem, they go, what do I need to do with this colloid problem? What do I need for mouthfeel? What do I need to do? I've got a sustainability problem. Uh, Everything is there. It's an interdisciplinary
So a
database.
company then buys access,
Yeah,
do they?
yeah. They buy it. They do a monthly subscription through one of our vendor platforms, or we
Okay.
can do it direct. And we give some away. The sustainability one we give away because we think that's so important that why wouldn't we give the latest 6 months sustainability research away? We just give it away. So we've got university students doing undergraduate things that are accessing our sustainability database free of charge because it's important.
So you mentioned your goal, your mission. I can't remember the term you used.
Yeah, that's my personal mission. Yeah.
Your personal mission is, if you've said quite a longer form of it. How could you sum up your personal mission in like one sentence?
My personal mission is to give anyone who can make life healthier for other people the best chance of finding that information and turning it into actionable work.
Okay, so you want to provide the tools
Yeah.
for people who want to do good in the world, for want of a better term,
Mm,
so they can do that good, to support
yeah,
them in doing
make
that
make
good.
make the world healthier. I mean, if you want to summarize it like that, it's a lofty goal. Make the world healthier. We can do it. It's got to
Yeah.
start. We're all little cogs in this big wheel. So that's. I mean, I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be doing this, James, if it wasn't important. I wouldn't be trying to get people to say, "Hey, have a look at this and see what you think about it." We wouldn't be trying to do all that unless it was. That's our remit.
Interesting. Okay, that's interesting. That's an interesting platform you've got there. And how is business? Because
It was
you're
suffered in COVID because all the universities closed down. And they went, what do we do? A lot of them had to borrow lots of money because the governments had to bail them out. They're now paying that money back. Many universities are losing students. So that market is particularly tough.
mm,
But that that doesn't stop. It's coming back. It doesn't stop things going on. But the biggest thing is that there's a corporate market, a big corporate market, which doesn't really realize who we are because we don't shout in the corporate way because we've never done that as a charity. Um, a lot of people in this line of work don't really understand sort of branding and marketing, how to get out there, and that's important. If you don't have your position
yeah.
properly, people don't understand it. You need a shortcut for people to understand. But I think that the big one for me is food as medicine, not an individual food. The changing of the doctors' medical licensing authority, they're changing the courses for doctors. They currently get 1 day nutrition over 7 years. That ain't enough.
Yeah.
So there's eight areas of medical licensing authorities going to be introduced about nutrition, which is
Mhm.
really important. The Americans are doing exactly the same. That's come out. The American Defense Department has indicated that food scarcity, obesity is a national priority for the Defense Department. So they have just given away $100 million for research.
That
So
was under the Biden administration, though.
yeah, under Biden, but because they know that they're losing trillions because of poor health, obesity,
Yeah.
the healthcare system is going to collapse, as ours will in the future. If diabetes continues at the rate it is continuing, we either fund, injections, but it's even not that. It's even not about the money. If you can eat the right food, your glycemic index scenario, and you don't get diabetes, it doesn't even matter about the money. That's good for someone,
Mhm.
they can live a life healthily. And people are living longer, but actually comorbidities are increasing massively.
Mhm.
So, you get to 60
Mhm.
and I'm 57, but I'm like you. I don't not like you, built like you. I'm not, but I go to the gym 3 times a week. I do my Nordic walking, I do my cycling, and it's the thing that does it for your head.
Yeah.
It enables you to think.
Yeah.
Um, But you, so if you can stop one person in their life getting ill, well, actually, that's really quite cool. You know,
Yeah. I like that perspective. Originally, my wife reminded me a couple of weeks ago that when I said I was going to write the book, I said, if one person reads this book and gets something out of it, that's an achievement. But then I said, now that's gone out the window now. It has to be lots of people. And this,
well, that's the key, you see.
yeah.
That's the key is, right. I had a lot of clients in my life, lawyers, and they said, "Oh, we don't want to do any marketing, blah, blah, and all this sort of stuff." And I used to say to them, you do realize that by not telling people about your services, you're actually doing them a disservice because you're in the helping business. And
Mm,
so you're right not to do the tiny, tiny podcast necessarily, because with your limited time, the more people you can reach, the more you're going to influence. And that's just a
mm.
reality of the
It
world.
is, yeah. I've been doing it for practice and also just to get the
Yeah.
book out there. But literally, a couple have gone live and they're lovely people. But just now I've been on the High Performance podcast and I've seen what they're actually do. I've seen another level. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'll say yes to small ones if they're to
Yeah.
academics and nutritionists. But I won't say just general
So
ones.
I'm gonna let's just wrap it up here, James, because you're so busy. But I'll tell you who this is going to go to, right? This is going to go, and it's interesting. It's going to go to university students. It's going to go to academics. It might go to some corporates. What do you sort of see you doing over the next, I don't know,
Yeah,
five? I know you don't know 5 years or
yeah.
6 months. Okay, just give me anything about the food industry you'd like to see happen. If you can wave your magic hooligan wand, the hooligan wand, get out your drawer, what would you love to see happen in an
Let me
ideal
ask
world?
what I'm doing first.
Okay.
I'll be. I am already kind of half time at Huel now. I'm still head of departments of. I'm still chief sustainable nutrition officer, right? So I
Yeah.
run one of the pillars of the business,
Yeah.
and that's nutrition and sustainability. So I have two direct reports. Um, then and I'm also on the senior management team. I'm no longer on the board. I came off that 2.5 years ago, but I'm
Yeah.
still on the senior management team. Those two things are going to have to go, but I don't want to leave Huel. So I
Yeah.
don't know what my job will look like because I'm barely. Like I said to the senior team on Monday, I said if I was a regular employee now, I would be getting a bollocking. I have paid no attention for the last couple. I have let so much slide, and it was. And I've got another couple of weeks of that. Yeah, I've got 4 more interviews this week. For
Yeah.
instance, it's yeah. So I need to that needs to change, and then I'm not going to be on the senior management team. So but I still want to be involved. So why is that relevant? Because then I'll have more time. At the moment, although I'm only half time, I'm working. I do an hour's Huel meeting, then I might do a meet for something else. You know what I mean? They're all
Yeah.
modelled up over the week, which is cool. So if something big happens at Huel, like
Yeah.
we do some sort of sell or whatever
Sure.
in
Yeah.
a couple of years, then I'll take most of my equity out, maybe
Yeah.
all of it. So that leaves me in a good financial position,
Yeah. What you? Yeah.
which is why I need to do things. So what now I want to go back to try and answer your question. You know what? People have kind of asked me, from my best friend, he asked me, what are you going to do? Like, because he's known me that many years, I always have something going on. Now the book's out, what's next? And I went, well, at the moment, I'm just going to, my next project, and I'll be candid, is going to be YouTube. I need to do a YouTube channel. I do
Nice.
Instagram. I'm doing the reels on
Nice.
Instagram. I'm not enjoying that at all. I don't
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the YouTube, I can do 7-8 minute videos rather than 90-second
Yeah.
videos.
Bit more
So
detail.
more in it, right? And do one a week and see how it goes. That's my next project. So what is my I don't know, Boyd. What a question. I
Well, it's definitely something because you're not
There's
someone
definitely
that can do
something. I
nothing.
don't know. I don't know. I've had speaking training and I've had media training, but I'm just signing up with a new guy who's actually Dr. Gemma Newman's husband. I've seen
Oh
Dr.
yeah.
Gemma Newman. Yeah. He came to my book launch last week and I met him and I said I was looking for someone and they went, he does it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
because if I'm going to,
Yeah.
okay, I'm an okay,
Mm.
right? I'm an above average at
Hmm.
best, right? I'm a writer. I'm a good writer, but
Yeah.
as a verbal communicator, I'm okay. Now I have the knowledge that could completely rip Gary Brecker apart in a
Yeah.
debate if I could debate.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
need to upskill myself through the
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
people. Now having a financial advantage means I can pay for this stuff. So that's what I'm going to do. Then what I do with that, I don't know. So I genuinely want to, I genuinely want to influence people. My goal is for people to embrace complexity in the food
Okay.
system. That's it. If people just embrace the fact that it is complex, they don't do
Yeah.
anything else.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
stop black and white thinking. That's
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
Okay. I'm sure there's more to it than that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if I can achieve that goal, then then I've achieved something. So I don't know what I want to do in
It's
5
food. It's food's shade of grey, almost. That shades of grey on food. That's almost what it is.
yeah. Yeah. Is that that's what call that book? I like that. There's a video, there's an Instagram video there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That I like that.
Well, I'm a marketing person. That's what
Yeah,
we do.
you're remarkable. Yeah. So I don't know what I'll do. Right. At the moment, I'm stressed out in some aspects, and I'm really
Yeah.
enjoying other aspects. I have no PA. That's going to have to change. I'm running ragged in some areas, and then what I like is having conversations with people like yourself,
Yeah.
and I like doing some of the PR, but being on the PR, not organising it.
Yeah.
And I love my writing. That
Do you
ain't
know
going
what
to
we
change.
can do in the future? Right. I've got this idea. When you're ready, let's go out to the universities of this world, the food sciencey students and stuff, like young people, right? When you're ready and you can do you can do a live thing and we can invite them all in to watch you as a practice or something like that. That would be really cool.
In
Because
what way? What do you mean? So
well, sort of if you do a YouTube live or if you did something somewhere, we could invite people virtually to watch that. I think that
Okay.
would be absolutely amazing because we'd have people from maybe Korea, Australia, South America, South Africa. It would just be like an invite to something one day, that would be so cool.
Yeah, I
Because
mean,
I think we could get you
I'm
around the
not,
world.
I'm not good enough yet.
No, when you're ready.
I can for that sort of thing. Don't get me wrong. If I was, I've done I've done talks, and
Yeah, yeah.
I'm good. I'm actually been told I'm really good at Q&As, and I like Q&As
That's the
because
structure,
I'm
isn't it? Yeah.
lazy and I don't have to prepare. I just have to show up. I've got
Yeah,
that tomorrow night. There's a Q&A tomorrow night with
yeah.
George's Simmons. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That's interesting. I don't know what I want to do really. I've done this thing of book. I've co-founded a successful business. I've done the book thing, and I'm okay at the moment. I'm just drifting, and it's fine.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
this PR
You're keeping your fitness
go
up.
go. Yeah, I'm still trying. That's on it right now because it's
I hope
just
I'm on
it's
the
good.
right one.
Yeah, it is good. Yeah, you're on the right tab. No, you are very
Cool.
much. But appreciate the conversation, Boyd, and thanks for
Yeah,
reaching out. And I'll see you online.
yeah. And good luck with this welfare. Really
Yeah,
appreciate
please
your book reading. It was good.
feel free to spread the word.
I will. No worries.
Okay. Thanks, mate.
Cheers.
Cheers.